Good morning, my children, and welcome to your English class. Today, my children, we're going to continue with the topic of additions. Now, first of all, the word addition, what is it? Remember, addition in Spanish means sumas, okay? Now, we need two objects to make additions. First of all, the symbol that looks like a cross. Whenever we have the cross symbol, it means that is an addition, and it's called plus. The plus symbol in Spanish means más. The other symbol is called the equal symbol and has two lines, one up and one down. And in Spanish means the result of the addition. Okay? Now, all of the additions can be in vertical form or horizontal form. Okay? Now remember, the most proper way to work with the additions is using numbers. But in some occasions, there is no problem if we use objects, okay? But it's preferable if we use numbers. Now, here we have some examples of additions. Remember, for this, you have to help the teacher, okay? Very good. So let's start. Now, the first addition, we are going to work with objects. Now, what objects are these? Okay, these are flowers. Now remember, we have our plus symbol, so it means an addition. Let's begin. Now, on the upper part of the addition, en la parte de arriba, how many flowers do we have? Let's count them. 1, 2, and 3. Very good, 3 flowers. Now, under the second part, how many flowers do we have? 1, 2, 3, and 4. There are 4 flowers. Now, what happens if we count them all? Si las contamos todas, what is the result? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. There are 7 flowers in total. That is the result. So the number 7, do you remember the form? Remember, is a number that is always sleepy. That's the number 7. So let's write number 7. Excellent, very good. Now, under this first addition, we have a second one. Now, in this part, we are going to use our fingers. Remember, the first number that appears here, what number is it? Number 3. That means that in the first hand, we're going to raise 3 fingers. 1, 2, and 3. Now, in the second hand, how many fingers? 4 fingers in the second hand. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now that we have our fingers, let's count them all to see what's the result. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So what's the result? Number 7. So once again, let's write it under. Remember, number 7 is the number that is always asleep. Now, let's continue with the third addition. As you can see here, my children, we have the same digits. Tenemos los mismos dígitos que utilizamos anteriormente. But in this occasion, the addition is in horizontal form. Okay? But let's solve it anyway. Now, once again, in the first hand, how many fingers? 3 fingers. 1, 2, and 3. That's it. In the second hand, how many fingers? ¿Cuántos dedos para la segunda mano? 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now that we have raised all of our fingers, let's count them to see the result. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So what's the result? What's the total? Number 7. Let's write it one more time. Remember, we have our equal symbol, means igual or the result. The result, once again, number 7. Now let's continue with the second part of the additions. Now here, what objects do we have? We have circles, okay? Now, is this an addition? No, it isn't. They are just circles. Remember, in order to become an addition, para que se convierta en una suma, we require our plus symbol. Requerimos de nuestro símbolo más. If we don't have plus symbol, it's not an addition. Now that we have our plus symbol, we can count it. The circles that are in color green, how many are they? Let's see. 1 and 2. Okay? Now the circles that are in color blue, how many are they? 1, 2, and 3. Now what happens if we count them all? Let's see to find the result. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. How many are they? What's the result? What's the total? 5 circles. Now remember, the number 5 is a number that eats a lot, so that's why it's very, very fat. Number 5. Very good. Now under the circles, we have some additions using numbers. Let's practice them. So, the first addition. In the first hand, how many fingers are we going to raise? 2 fingers. 1 and 2. In the second hand, how many fingers? 3. 1, 2, and 3. Let's count them all to see the result. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. What's the result? Number 5. So remember, the number 5 is the number that has the big stomach, the big belly. Now this addition, remember, is in vertical form. Now let's do it in horizontal form. Once again, in the first hand, how many digits? 2 fingers. 1 and 2. In the second hand, how many fingers? 3. 1, 2, 3. Let's count them all to see the result. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So what's the total? What is the result? Number 5. Very good. Once again, remember the number that has the big belly, the big stomach. Excellent. So, this is the activity for today, my children. Once again, this activity is part of your textbook and is located right here on this page, okay? So, you have the flowers, you have the additions in vertical and horizontal form, and you have the circles that you have to count to put the result, the correct number, okay? Very good. And yesterday, my children, also in the class of the teacher Jacob, we saw the names of each one of our fingers. So for this, we're going to practice it one more time. Remember, we have 5 fingers in each one of our hands, and each one of these fingers has their own name. The first one is called thumb, index finger, middle finger, ring finger, and little finger. Remember that the thumb is the chubbiest one, the one that is fat. The index finger, the one that we use to locate an object or a person, para ubicar un objeto o una persona. The one that is in the middle, which is the largest, the biggest of all, el más largo de todos. The ring finger, it's called like this because in this finger we put accessories, ponemos accesorios like the rings, como los anillos. That's why it's called ring finger. And finally, we have the little finger, which is the tiniest, el más pequeño of all of them, okay? Very good. Now, remember that it's important again that you practice them at home so you know them and you never forget their names. That's it for today, my children. Take care. Have an excellent day. Goodbye.